So we're going a bit early today, so hopefully the takes are more fresh, they're ready to go, they're rejuvenated. All jokes aside, though, I appreciate the guys joining me early. I appreciate you guys joining us early. Every week we try to get a process built, and we try to really think through like what's happening, what will happen, what could happen, and then how to leverage that. So we always like to try to go with these shows on Saturday or as late as possible. So we shouldn't be so early that none of the information is valuable. It's not that much earlier, but I do appreciate the kind of change of schedule because I do know that messes with kind of the rhythm of things. So I apologize for that. But without further ado, Donnie, Guff, how we doing?
Doing good. It's a fun Saturday morning, getting in before college and everything. So
I know it's a bit different. But sometimes you have to do that. And I think that's important to show the viewer and to show the audience. It's like you have a process, you have things you like. Like, for example, I like stars and scrub builds. Those are just my natural go-to. But sometimes you have to break tendency. Sometimes that is a good thing. And other times you try to get too creative or you try to get too cute. We were talking before the show about our best bet. And sometimes it's not going to just pop out at you. Last week, even though it was wrong, we loved attacking Willis or Malik Willis. And I still stand by that. It was a smart decision because our process made sense. This week, I thought it would be a runaway. I thought okay, we're going to go with.
Honestly, my pushback is 100%. I'm still 50-50 whether Jordan Love plays. And if Jordan Love plays, I don't see Tennessee having a shot against Green Bay.
I don't see Jordan Love.
I didn't see enough from Green Bay without an offense to make me like what I saw from Green Bay last week against Indy makes me think that Tennessee's not blowing them out of the water. So I definitely didn't want to take Tennessee minus points on that one, even at home. And then if Jordan Love plays, they can totally lose that game, and like they're definitely not going to do minus points. So
see, and that's
that
what
just
I love.
Did not look good to me.
Well, that's what I love too. Is like we're a group of fun-loving people who really enjoy each other's company. Like obviously, we wouldn't do the show so organically without getting paid and without like the public backing of a show or sponsorships. But when we disagree, it's not to say you're right and I'm wrong, but it's to say okay, that defeats the purpose. And so
no, it's a process thing. Like I have my process. It
right.
wasn't put me on Tennessee. Your process puts you immediately on Tennessee for what you're looking for. So like that's perfectly fine. No problem there. But
that's actually
that's actually a great thing. Or sorry, but like getting up in this morning, like we still have our process. So it really doesn't matter what time of day we do this. Like this is a great testament of how like if you build yourself a solid process, even when life hits you and you've got work later, so we can't do our normal times. It's like we still have a process. We can still go forward with a amount of intelligence and thoughtfulness that I'll be fine with the lineup we build, even though I haven't done all of the normal research I would have done on a Saturday. Like I've still done enough throughout the week where I can basically build a good lineup.
And that's an important note, whether you win or lose to it. That's why exactly what you said is exactly why bankroll management is important. Like it's not just a phrase that we say at the beginning of the show for responsible gambling or responsible. It is actually that. It's being able to adjust, being able to say, I can lose this because I stand by my process. I stand by what I believe. Donnie, we can get into the number generator. I know that's your department. We did come up with a group pick this week. I did hold people to the fire, though. If we don't have a group pick some weeks, that's fine, too. We'll explain that out. But we did come up with one this week. So we can get to that, but then we can also pick our numbers. What would you rather do? You want to talk about the group first?
Let's get the group out of the way first, because it's probably going to lose. We're probably going to get it wrong again. Because it's week 3.
As always, like let's see if we can do 21-0. We're going for the Undertaker streak. Let's do this.
We're going Seahawks minus 4.5 for the group pick this week. The Seahawks looked good last week. Very good. I don't exactly see Miami being able to score. Their defense, I think, will be fine. But we saw against the Seahawks, if you're not able to score, it doesn't really matter. Gino's not going to make a mistake.
I have an underrated take on the Seattle Seahawks this year. I think they are one of the most creative offenses we have in the league. with their offensive coordinator. He came from the Huskies. He has a college background, but he's not sold. He's not trying to be like college. He's not trying to be new age. He just organically has some new ideas. Like, it reminds me of Ben Johnson of the Lions. He's like, no one knows exactly what he wants to do, and he's been hampered with injuries. Like, he was supposed to have Walker, and then Walker gets hurt, and Charbonnet was supposed to be this, this fun like weapon that they could utilize and bring along, and now he's forced into the fire. But then Gino was kind of given up on. Then Pete Carroll was like, "Oh, I want you to run a conservative game management offense." But like coming out of college, he was exciting. He was electric. I think this team has a lot more firepower than they've shown, and we started to see glimpses of it with GSN and DK Metcalf. They've really been part of teams that didn't want to push the ball. Like they played Denver, who just wants to kind of like play a boring.
Even with that, Seattle's been pushing the pace very good this year. Like
That's
they have
what I
been
mean.
one of the higher paced teams. So just off of that volume that they've been producing,
Yes.
I feel like they could cover. And then it comes into the fact that I do not believe in the Skyler, and I will not think that Miami is going to do that well.
And again,
First yawn of the show. There you go, Donnie.
This is a
how you know
process
it's too
play.
early. Oh.
This is a process play, though, Gov. We attacked Malik Willis last week for the same.
We're going to attack a shitty quarterback this week. Yes.
It didn't work, but I would put that on the Colts. Now, if I'm wrong, I'm going down with the ship. You're my captain. I'm going.
Here's the thing. The Malik Willis one, we sort of figured they would like have him kind of run the Green Bay offense, which with Jordan Love was throwing the ball a good amount.
Yes.
I did not expect them to come out and run the Navy offense and just run the ball 45 times.
Yeah, they didn't.
That was the way to protect your quarterback and keep him hit. I do not think Skyler will have that. Like, I don't think McDaniels is going to scheme up the offense that way for Skyler Thompson. I don't think he's that kind of quarterback. You're going to need to plug him in and use your weapons. And that's where he can make mistakes that can be capitalized.
I'm going to kick it over to you in a second, Donnie, but I want to mention that, like we just said, Seattle's pace has been amazing. They haven't really been pushed. There's not been a fun offense on the other side. I could actually see this game scoring a lot of points. I just think Thompson is pretty bad, so I don't think it'll be like it won't be.
It's not a high probability.
Well, but like Tyreek Hill could take it 80. Like there could be a back and forth here, but I like Seattle better as a team, so I just like it. Go ahead, Donnie.
Yeah, I was going to just say, let's kick it over to the numbers. Do we all have a number we like? I'm going 81 this week.
Let me go number 9. I always pick a quarterback or a player I like. I'm going to say Stafford gets it done with the Rams.
Give me dead even, Fitty.
All right.
Fitty in face of Shotani. Give me the Fitty.
39. So I'm last. I got the snake again. And
do it quickly. Yeah.
Goes first.
And I'll get the snake in the draft again. Woohoo! All right. 2 weeks in a row. Okay, so let's open this up. You guys didn't like my thought on this, so I'll open it up easy. Dallas versus the Ravens. I'm going to take Dallas at home. I believe it's basically a pick'em game, but Dallas is getting +1. I'll take +1 from Dallas at home.
Yeah, it's
I think they can totally win this game outright at home. Both teams need the win. I'm already playing a lot of rate. I love this game, honestly, in DFS. It is a game I'm going to be building around and have pieces of in probably all of my 3-max.
I love it too.
I don't think it's going to be on. I think this game is starting to get steam, and it's going to take away from the other afternoon games like Detroit, Arizona, like Seattle, Miami, that were pulling ownership early in the week. They might even make it so that not many people play the New Orleans Philly game early on at 1 o'clock slate.
Yeah,
I think,
but it's a warranted game. This game can definitely go off. Like this is a game. Like we've seen Baltimore. If they're in a shootout, they'll go for the shootout. We know Dallas is a high-powered offense outside of their running game. So this could totally be 35-42.
It's going to come down to is Lamar going to have to run for his life, which is the answer is probably yes. That offensive line's terrible. Not New England bad, but it's bad.
I think Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry are going to have like one of those, excuse my language, but fuck it games. Like we came here for a purpose. We cannot go 0-3. So I just feel like they're going to bring Super Bowl energy to this game.
It's going to be Lamar and the big dog all day. I kind of agree with you on that.
Now,
Justice Hill got a new contract, by the way, if you didn't see that.
Did it? I don't know if it works, though. It might not work. I just feel like they came here for a purpose, and that purpose gets destroyed if this doesn't
If they're
work.
0-3, yeah.
And I know,
Agreed.
That gets thrown around so much, like hyperbole. People want to build up narratives. That's a narrative that I don't think it's on question. I think they have not that they have to win this game, but they have to make a statement.
You go 0-3, you're in a must-win situation pretty much the rest of the year. You can only drop 4 more games at most.
And that's
what I'll be 100% sure. The reason I have this pick is I truthfully think Dallas is the better team. And so I'll take the better team at home in a pick'em game.
I think they're a better matchup. They got such a great pass rush.
So that's the thing. I think Dallas's defense is slightly better, but both of them have good defenses. I think the Ravens are one-dimensional on offense, but Lamar and Henry, like, if you're going to be one-dimensional, you basically are throwing the best run game you can out there as your one-dimensional run game. Dallas, they can run the ball, not very effectively, but they can, and they have weapons everywhere. Like, Tolbert is legit good young weapon. Cooks is not cooked. He's still running all the good routes. Lamb is a freaking god. Like, it is the Lamb God and the Sun God and JJ the jet plane. That's your top receivers in the league.
We got excited for that game though, so I forgot the order. Who's got the next pick?
You got the next pick, Logan.
It's you, Logan.
Okay, I figured as much. I know you guys don't like it. I don't know what you guys really like, so maybe I should be more strategic about what I pick here and try to pick one that might not be on the board on my big back.
Oh yeah, because if you're going to take Tennessee, none of us are going to take Tennessee. So.
Right, but I don't think you'll take either one of mine. I do want Tennessee against Malik Willis.
I'm so mad at you.
I
wanted it so bad. I figured I'm going to take Green Bay just to spite you guys and get it up on me. That's how I'm going to do it early in the year.
You're bad at these head-to-heads. Gov, you lose every head-to-head you get involved in.
Okay.
Hey, only against you guys, not $1 head-to-heads on DK. No, I don't lose those.
More importantly, as long as you win the ones with your dad, you're probably good because then you live in the same home. But
bitching.
Here's the thing I haven't heard anyone say, and I believe it, and if I'm wrong, then I guess I'm on an island here. I don't care if it's Jordan Love or Malik Willis. The game's different, but it's a risk for Green Bay regardless, because you're going to tell me that a guy who's coming off maybe what people feared as a season-ending knee injury is now going to come back so quickly, and already a season where he had a lot of expectation and a lot of forecasting of being great was already on his shoulders, and that kind of pressure was already there. They beat a Eagles team that everyone had higher expectations for that now doesn't look like that crowning of an achievement. Now, Green Bay deserves credit. What I'm saying is now the pressure is even more on Green Bay, and we were not sure if that knee is right. They got away with a running scheme against a team and Gus Bradley who just wouldn't adjust. Literally made no rushing adjustments until the second half of that game. Now, maybe he was stubborn to his defense, which he had success with. He took Seattle's defense to the Super Bowl. He's going to believe in it. But I thought it was too stubborn. I thought if they applied more strategy and more tactical abilities, they could have easily stopped Green Bay. So I want the Tennessee team. Tony Pollard, just for a player take, has looked fantastic. They say Spears might be out. I don't care. Tony Pollard is starting to show workloads that proved to me that he might be a legit thing. And I don't know. It does scare me though having Will Levis be my quarterback that I'm picking in a win game because he's just looked very bad. But maybe some of those mistakes were his fault, but maybe the circus kind of has the other end of the spectrum, where it's like he is a high volume, volatile kind of quarterback. And so hopefully I see some of that positive on the bring back this week.
That could work. Like, that game looks like really weird to me. So like I was going to stay away from it. Now, I find out Jordan Love isn't playing Sunday morning and he's completely inactive.
Mhm.
Will I have some parlay bets that have Tennessee? Maybe. Yes. Will I have some parlay bets that have Green Bay rushing attack? Yes. Like that, those will be things. But I just didn't want to. I don't have confidence enough in this game to take it as one of mine. So good on you there.
Yeah,
I have no trust in Will Levis. Like, I'm sorry, Malik Willis is bad, but Will Levis is like, of the starters that started week 1, Will Levis is like bottom 5.
Oh, here's an idea. So everyone's talking about like Jordan Love might be healthy now, and like there could be an upgrade for Green Bay. What if I made the argument that Hopkins could be getting healthier? Like he hasn't looked great, but he's coming back from an injury. He probably should have rested. He didn't. But what if
when Levis is running circles in the backfield and flinging it and fumbling it off to the side, it doesn't matter how healthy Hopkins is 15 yards downfield.
True. I'm just saying each week we he might be getting healthier. Donnie, you like this? I think you might still be salty. You've been quiet. Why?
He's probably trying to scramble and find his actual 2 picks. He doesn't know.
You got it. You got it, Gov. I'm scrambling.
The man is on a scramble. The man looks like Will Levis out there. He's trying not to fumble the bag. He needs a DeAndre Hopkins to throw to.
I probably should have thought of Will Levis, but Caleb
filibuster, Logan. Filibuster.
My thing is, if Jordan Love plays, there's no way he's healthy enough to be out there, and there's no way they're going to get away with running the ball down your throat 2 weeks in a row like they did with Malik Willis. Once you get film on the backup quarterback,
I think Green Bay could get away with running the ball 40 plus times. Even with if like
Tennessee's
Love were healthy,
defense is
I think it would be
good.
more like a 30 plus rushing attack game.
You're really underestimating Tennessee's defense here.
I am. Because from what I've seen from
it's such a sleeper.
From what
defense.
I saw from Tennessee, like who did they actually hold under 20 points? Like who did I forget? What did they play last week? Let me double check.
Jet.
Yeah, like let me.
Who looked awesome this week against a good Patriots defense?
Yeah, they went Chicago and then Solid Jet.
Chicago, they didn't give up any touchdowns to, and then
okay, so the one team they held under 20 points has again one of these bottom 5 quarterbacks in the league, and basically did nothing on offense, and they still lost that game because of how good the Chicago defense was.
And the Jets,
to be fair, they had the exact same game, 17-24, 17-24. It's just the defense at Chicago made up for the fact that they had no offense, and then they couldn't really stop the Jets from doing what they did. So
they did stop the Jets. Rodgers and them didn't have a good game. I watched that whole
Rodgers didn't have a good game last night on Thursday. Like, I don't care what the numbers they came out at the end to try to make him look good. He actually did not have a great game. He can play a lot better than he did on Thursday. Like, the way you're saying Hopkins is going to get better and that team might get better over the year, the Jets are going to get better throughout the year than what they are. Like, I am, after Thursday's game, I now have the Jets as like divisional round team. I don't know if they make the title game, but like I could see them easily playing and losing to Mahomes in the divisional round.
I do
playing and losing to Buffalo, or like hosting Buffalo.
After what they showed me last night, I do think that there's a good chance they make the playoffs.
But I also saw them like I saw misses to Wilson. I saw bad block pickups by the young guy Allen, and that like that Jets team, as good as they did against a really bad Patriots team. And I'm sorry, Donnie, your team is not good. That linebacker being out was very noticeable. Gonzalez is a fucking stud. I'll give you that. He's a goddamn lockdown corner. Like,
he's a lockdown.
He helps make that defense.
I will say the Garrett Wilson touchdown. He gave up his first touchdown of his career. I believe that was. That had a 50-50 shot of going for 6 his way.
And I'd like to you saw the stat on the other side. 480 touchdowns by Rodgers in his career. First time he's ever thrown a touchdown to a first-round pick.
Yeah.
Like I said, like I think this team has so much ceiling that because Rodgers has been hurt, because it's the Jets, no one actually sees it. So, like, not to get off on too much of a tangent, because we're using this to talk about how I don't believe in the Tennessee defense, because I think the Jets are in their middling, not as good form, still able to put up 20-plus points. And then they got beat by Chicago where, yeah, they shut down Caleb Williams. I got a feeling a lot of people are going to shut down Caleb Williams most of
the Jets only had 2 really good drives, though, against Tennessee. Some of it was.
But that's all. Again, they're getting better. Like they had 2 really good drives. But
I know, but that's I think that's Tennessee's defense being good.
That's
as well.
the thing. My point is that's more on the Jets only able to put together 2 drives in week 2 than the Titans defense held them to 2 good drives.
That's fair.
That's me. I don't think the Titans defense has gotten that much better. We're 2 weeks in. I don't know that 100%, but I'm willing to put my bets on Tennessee is going to be a bottom. I got Tennessee as a bottom 5 team this year, and I don't see any reason why not. Unless Will Levis just all of a sudden stops making mistakes. If he just turns into a straight game manager rest of the year, they might have a shot.
If he changes his whole identity that's made him
That's the thing. He's got to basically not be Will Levis for a year from what he's shown. So I don't know how much that actually happens. But
yeah.
Let me get into
Donnie, you got a pick yet, Donnie?
I got 2 picks.
Oh, you got the snake. Let's go. What's your first one?
All right. The first one, I'm going to go with the Chiefs. Kirk Cousins is in primetime a second.
God damn it! Now I got to scramble. You son of a bitch.
-3. I don't think that the Chiefs will play with their food when it comes to Atlanta. Just throw your punches early. They should win this game. They know what they're in for. They gotta win. This is one of those games where I don't even think it's a trap game. They know that Atlanta's a threat.
I think this is. I just think this is a fun game. I want to see this game. This obviously.
I don't think it's even fun. I'm gonna watch it, but I don't think it's fun.
No, I really do. I watch the primetime games. The showdowns are fun because sometimes the prize pools are bigger. You got primetime quarterbacks. We saw Aaron Rodgers sometimes already. This game, I feel like, but we've seen a lot of bad football games in these. Thursday, Monday, it doesn't matter. This game, I feel like, is going to be complete fireworks. It's going to be fun. It's going to be back and forth. I think Kirk Cousins kind of gained some confidence. You could almost see him exhale after that win they had, that comeback. He probably knows they probably didn't deserve that win against the Eagles, but when he was getting interviewed, you could kind of feel just say a breath of fresh air, literally go into his lungs and come back out. He mentioned in that interview, Drake London. He gave props to, I think, people can correct me if I'm wrong. People love to do that, but he even gave props to Kyle Pitts blocking, which that's kind of been his bugaboo. It's like, oh, he can catch the ball, he can do this athletic stuff. He gave props to Pitts for blocking on some of those late, plays when they had to hurry up and they couldn't get him off the field. So, I like the synergy of the Falcons. I think people want so much of the Chiefs they can never meet that expectation, but they're a really good team. This might be the best version of the Kansas City team we've seen in a while. The Pacheco injury hurts them, and I think that's going to muddle it up in terms of people's perception. But I don't think that makes that big of a difference. I would actually think this number should be much higher. I like this pick a lot.
See, I think it's completely misplaced. In my mind, again, probably not right, but I only see this game going one of 2 ways.
Mm-hmm.
Either it's an offensive explosion, like you're saying. In that case, I think either one of these teams could win that game, to be honest. If I think it's an offensive explosion, I would probably take the points for the Falcons just because they'll keep it close in an offensive game. But these are 2 really good defenses. Kansas City's defense was underrated all last year. They lost Snead, but they've still been playing pretty solidly this year. Atlanta's defense is a lot better than it has been. Jesse Bates at safety, great. Getting Judon from New England, that's working out for them. They are actually a very tough defense. I kind of want to hedge because, as much as I like this game and as much as I would like to take the Chiefs, my thought on taking the Chiefs is they win this game 20-7 in a defensive struggle. Sorry.
I do want to say really quickly, though, when I say scoring and fun and just explosive, I do expect there to be at least one defensive scorer in this game.
I could definitely see one side, multiple turnovers.
Yeah,
that's the thing. But realistically, if you have multiple turnovers, they're probably coming from Atlanta and not Kansas City because Kansas City doesn't really turn the ball over that much. But you're also going to be handing. Kansas City's also going to be handing the ball off to a rookie most of the game. So, like, is that going to stay?
Well, they still have P. Ryan as well. So we'll see how much work he gets.
Yeah, but like they stopped giving P. Ryan work in week 2 and just basically gave it to Carson Steele. So like they tried P. Ryan out week 1 and he wasn't really in sync. So like maybe it's 3 weeks in, the team will get more in sync and be better. But I really think they're going to be heavy on Carson Steele until Kareem Hunt is up to speed, which again will probably take a week for him to really get into.
Super long.
Like I'm sure he knows a couple of special plays in Andy Reid's offense right now, but that's not enough to elevate him from the practice squad.
Well, I think this is his second stint with what is it? Nagy is this or OC now as well?
Yeah, he was drafted by Kansas City.
Yeah, I know, but was Nagy the OC there at that time?
I believe so, but
if he wasn't, I think he was the OC when he went to. It wasn't Cleveland that he went to second. Where was the second place?
I thought it was Cleveland that he went to second.
I thought he went somewhere in between before he went to backup Chubb, but I might be wrong on that. But like I'm pretty sure. Like I'll have to look that up. I'm not going to say definitively. I'm not, but like Kareem Hunt will probably so it was Cleveland, but like Kareem Hunt will probably get up to speed in that offense. It just isn't going to be immediate because he's in shape. But like that's why like if they're going to give Carson Steele a heavy dose, he is a rookie. He could make mistakes. I could see this game being like I like the -3 of Kansas City, but I would also probably take the under in this game personally. Like I think it's going to be more of a Kansas City puts the Falcons in their place and wins by more than 3, then
that's how
it's 45. Well, it ends up being 42-35 in the cup. I don't see it as that kind of game.
All right, next pick. We can spend time on Kansas City all the time. I'm just going. I'm going another pick'em game. Give me Texans 1.5. I do not see Sam Darnold coming in and competing with the Texans.
I would say it's not up to Sam Darnold, but I like that Minnesota defense. Now they lost. They also lost one of their defensive.
Daniil Hunter.
Hunter. Yeah. So like it might not be as good this week as it has been the first 2 weeks, but I still.
I think that's the defense that's fluky. You tell they haven't played much competition.
I'm sorry. Yes, week 1 they played the Giants. So like if you're saying playing the Giants 1 week makes your entire season you played no competition, okay. But they just beat San Francisco. That's the NFC defending champion. That is the most competition
San Francisco's had a lot of fluky weeks these past couple of years, though, where it's just they don't show up.
If you believe
I don't know really about that. Usually those come at the end of the year when they've already got stuff locked up. Minnesota's just sort of had San Fran's number for a minute. I think it's mostly coaching staff. Like Brian Flores knows how to play a Mike Shanahan offense. And then Minnesota's defense has been quietly, again, people haven't been talking up defense. But like all last year, Kansas City got to the Super Bowl because of how good their defense is. Everyone's talking about Sam Darnold and Justin Jefferson. What are they going to do? Ed McCarthy. How is this offense? Addison when he gets healthy. Hockenson when he gets healthy. They're all talking about the offense. Minnesota's got a legit playoff defense that if the offense just doesn't make mistakes could easily if Jordan Love were to miss the whole year, I would probably just slot Minnesota into the number 2 spot as one of the wild cards in the NFC the way they've been playing. Now their defense might not be as good as I think. They might get blown out.
San Francisco really didn't struggle moving the ball. They struggled punching it in.
Exactly. Red zone defense. High powered yes, San Fran's offense is built to move the ball up and down the field. That's just what it does. But then in crunch time, they were able to hold them to field goals. That's basically what you're going to do against the really good teams. That's how you're going to win a playoff game against San Fran is 21-18 when they only kick 5 field goals. Or something like that. That's how you're going to need to win. So good game plan. They came out and executed, and they were able to beat a very, very good team. I'm willing to say Minnesota has a shot this year, but again, we're 2 weeks in. I'm not 100% right, but my money would actually be on Minnesota in this game. That's another game where do I take the other side just to be contrarian, or do I have to go and find another pick?
Logan, it's your pick.
I don't think anyone will take this. This is one of my favorite bets, though. I do want the Carolina Panthers against the Raiders. It's on to 6. It was 6.5 last night. So I'm glad we did this in real time to give you guys accurate numbers. It was 6.5. I'll still take the Panthers at +6, though. They had it.
You took my other game. What the fuck with the both of you, dude? This is where it sucks out. Okay, this is where it sucks. You don't always want the number 1 pick because then you get snake drafted out of this crap.
Yeah, it's true. I had that a couple weeks ago. But
it's like one of the few games where everything looks good in that game to take the Panthers. Like, I think it's too high of a spread. It should only be like what it opened at 4.5. The Raiders, I think, have played above. Like, the Raiders, I would say the Raiders won their Super Bowl last week, but they played the Chiefs twice, and those are their Super Bowls. So it's not quite that. But beating Baltimore is very big.
That was big. But that was a testament to how bad that offensive line is in Baltimore.
I don't know. Baltimore's offensive line is pretty good. I think that's a testament to how one-dimensional Baltimore is, and that the Vegas, while they don't have a lot of talent on defense, their scheme is going to come out and play you tough. They're going to hit you hard. They're not going to give you easy stuff. They're going to tackle. That's what I've seen from Vegas. So that makes you a very tough out on defense. If your offense isn't clicking, you can lose those games to Vegas because they'll just grind away until they're right there.
I was wrong on Bryce Young so far. I have to own that.
I was right and knew he was garbage from fucking draft day. Sorry, I won't talk more.
Yeah, you were pissed about that pick.
Yeah. I will not talk more about my Panthers who suck
right now. Say
Red Rifle time, though.
Last year, Andy Dalton got in the game, but that was kind of the rebuild, kind of like we're going to hope. You know, Mingo was playing.
That was more due to Bryce Young took like a pretty big hit. And, like, he wasn't out, but they decided to sit him, like, week 3 or 4 after he took a big hit and wasn't playing well. It's like, okay, you're a rookie. Take a game or 2 behind Andy while you rest everything. And then he started 2 or 3 weeks later.
Exactly.
I don't think you do that this time.
That was more of a health concern, right?
Yeah. That was more like he's a straight rookie. Let's not get him hurt on a bad team. Let's put Andy out there because the offense will keep moving. And Dalton had a good game against Seattle that first game out. Like, he had 300-plus yards and multiple touchdowns.
And that's why I have confidence that he can repeat that. But the difference is he's repeating that with a team that actually has more of a chance in the present. We talked about the Ravens being 0-2. If the Panthers can get back on track, they have brought in veterans. They haven't just punted on the season of, let's see what our rookies can do. They have brought along, running back slowly. Brooks hasn't made his debut yet.
We actually, with pass and run blocking grades, we're actually like a top 12 deep offensive line. Like, we put $100 million in the offensive line, and it is better this year.
Gov, I allure you to look at the numbers for the Ravens offensive line. That whole offensive line is basically new. 3 out of the 5 are brand new. 2 of them are first-time starters. It is not a good offensive line.
Just being new doesn't make you bad. Like, I can go and pull up the numbers and be like, they're still getting large rushes. They're still getting off blocks. People are getting yards before contact. The offensive line is still getting pushed. It might not be all the names you like because they've gone on to other teams, but
pass blocking,
they're still doing good. They were never good at pass blocking. Even when they were a really good Ravens offensive line, they were shit at pass blocking. They've never been a good passing team. That's just the Ravens. But, like, their run blocking grades and everything else still look very solid. Like, I'll tell you, like, I'll agree with you it's a step down, but I don't say it's not a bottom 10 offensive line. It's just not the top 5 offensive lines in the league anymore.
But we talked about offensive lines. I want to say the Panthers' offensive line is actually very good. They've been very good. Young has made bad decisions. So if you've upgraded your decision-making, you have veterans like Deontay
Johnson, Adam Thielen, the rookie Leggett has been playing pretty well. I look at it and, like, all these guys are getting solid target share, but the catchable ball rate is like, you have 11 targets, only 5. Like Deontay Johnson, he's had let me get the exact number up.
His catchable percentage.
It's like 15 targets, but only 5 of them have been catchable.
Right, his catchable percentage is been bad. So you got all this potential of greatness. You have a good offensive line playing above what they were projected. You have wide receivers that are veteran presence that are saying, "Hey, the rookies don't got to play right now. We're not probably playing our best offensive player in Brooks because he's hurt." So there's
Deontay Johnson, 12 targets on the year, but only 5 of them have been catchable balls.
Right. So
less than half of his balls are even catchable. That's a Bryce Young thing.
If Andy Dalton can make things more catchable, I do think they can cover that 6. That's all. That's my only point.
Coming into this year, I had the Panthers coming back as the worst team in the league. With Andy Dalton, I don't know if that's going to be the case.
And that's why I want to tack it early while it's still 6.
All right.
It's my
lineups. Or no, you got one.
Or no, I have one more. That was Logan's number 2. I have one more, and I'm glad Logan was filibustering after taking my goddamn pick. So, you know what? I'll just take the other one. I'm going to take the Rams plus. Is it 6 or 6.5?
It was 6 last night.
I got to see where it's moved to.
6.5. I found it.
Okay, I was looking at next week. I'm like, why are they?
Yeah, you have next week's games. What are you doing?
That was the Bears, yeah.
Let's see.
So it is 6.5.
6.5. Yeah. Personally, the Niners, they're in that point where they're kind of hurt. Okay, no Debo, still no McCaffrey. Looks like Kittle's going to be out. So I think
Kittle is out.
Yeah. So the offense is not going to run quite as efficiently as it has been. Now, their scheme is going to let them move up and down the field, and it is a divisional game that they know the Rams. The Rams are also very hurt. These are 2 division teams that are hurt already 3 weeks into the season. I don't see this game being some massive blowout. So the Rams covering a touchdown just seems like something that can easily happen. Will they still probably lose to San Fran? Yeah. But will they lose 17-13? Sure. Will they lose 20-15? Maybe. Yeah. Will that cover 6.5? Yes.
Yeah. And sometimes that's what you want. Sometimes you're like, I don't got a strong lean. I just need to cover.
And then, of course, one of the things I look at just to think, a lot of my numbers are the bets placed and the money down. And this one just looks like a discrepancy where a lot of bets are coming in on the Niners, but they're only the bets are it's 75% on the Niners, but the money's 50-50. So there's some large bets being placed on the Rams covering. And I think I'll follow the money on this one.
It's like a weather.
It's not always good. Vegas wins because Vegas is profitable because the money isn't always right. But my numbers say I'm going to follow the money on this
one. And it's like a weather forecast. Sometimes you have to follow those trends and be able to.
Also, Damian Pierce is listed as out, by the way. So they're down to Akers and Dare.
Yeah.
I will say.
Get into that. We'll get into that when we do our lineup builder, but I have a thought on Akers personally. You guys may notice that I don't really have him on my list of plays.
Yeah, I'm all over him. I will say quickly, because we're not going to build one on FanDuel, he is minimum price on FanDuel. It's the first time he's starting.
That's where I would probably play him.
Yeah, it's the first time a starting running back has been minimum on FanDuel in their history. So it was definitely a mistake. They don't normally do that.
Well, it's the 3rd or 4th string guy. To be fair, I would have thought Cam Akers was the 3rd or 4th string guy. Why would you have him with any kind of higher price?
Yeah. I will say I am playing in that game, Gov. I am playing maybe some Cody Parkinson. I'm not totally sold on it yet. I might play some Whittington maybe, but then he's too expensive for the price, in my opinion. I love Stafford. If I was going to do it, I would pair him with Kyron Williams because he does use Kyron a lot out of the backfield. And I would kind of pay up and be different that way because everyone will look for the cheaper options in that game as a stack. But that'd be I don't really have a lean in this game, to be honest. I cheer for Stafford. I'd like to see it because it'd be a cool story, like a Cinderella, like all these injuries, he's able to overcome it. But it'd be a stay away from me. Don, you have any thoughts?
No, nothing else on that.
All right. Well, then I say let's get into the lineup builder. And I like the idea. let's do our thought process and get our value lineup in. Like let's build out our value lineup so we can get our thoughts and processes on the plays and the cheap plays that we like. So we'll work on that. And for everyone listening, we're going to build a lineup. We're going to plug in all of our value plays that we like. And ideally, once we're done, we'll have $3,000 or $4,000 or more left on the table. And then we will decide where we want to allocate that money to upgrade these value plays. They're already going to be good plays that we would have. We would use them to fill out a lineup. Maybe they would be part of a cheap stack partner we would have. But we like all these values. We were definitely willing to play. So we're still doing our snake draft style. So first pick goes to Donnie. Who is your favorite value play?
My favorite value play, it's not even close, I don't think. I'm just jamming in Tutu Atwell. He had 4 targets in this last week.
Really? Tutu?
Tutu had 4 targets last week. We saw him have multiple blow-up games last season when Cup went down and Puka was still coming on. I'm all in on that.
See, I'm a lot higher on the other guys. Like I would much be willing to play Robinson or Whittington.
I think you're overthinking it. Tutu's the home run hitter here.
Like, and then Tyler Johnson was the guy who took over for Cup running all the outside stuff. So, like, I was not even thinking about Tutu. Tutu seemed to be the guy, like, he was the first guy they were taking down so that these other guys could come up behind Cup and Puka.
That's what it seemed like, but I mean, 4 targets.
Well, no. That's what it was. But now you don't have Cup or Puka.
Right.
So you're just bringing up your next guy. But Tutu, like, when Cup and Puka were there, Tutu was like 5th or 6th.
I know.
On this team.
That's why I want it.
But that's the thing. Like, but that would be my argument. It's like, so you want a guy who was 6th. You get rid of the top 2 receivers, and you assume he's going to be number 1 or number 2 instead of being number 4.
I'm not assuming he's going to be number 1. I'm assuming the number 1 corner, and they're going to be focused on other guys. Tutu's the forgotten guy.
And I think he still might not see the field.
He saw 4 targets in last half.
And that was mostly because he had to. They didn't have other guys ready. He was
They don't have anyone else. They don't.
No, they've had an entire week to get dudes ready. They had an entire last week. They legit only had Whittington, DeMarcus Robinson, Tutu Atwell active after Cup went out. They did not have a 4th wide receiver active. They will have other wide receivers active where Tutu does not have to run the plays and snaps.
To be fair to Donnie's point, DraftKings is so afraid of this game, they just decide they're going to price up everyone. I will say Tutu actually has experience with Stafford, so if he wants an experienced wide receiver, he might favor a Tutu over Whittington, and people are going to play Robinson. There's a lot of plays I would stay away from. I don't mind the Tutu play, but I would definitely stay away from Robinson. I would definitely stay away from
I'm more on Tyler Johnson myself. Like, I think Robinson, Johnson, Whittington are going to be the guys with Tutu just, like, filling in. But they weren't really using those last week when Cup and Puka were out. So it's like you got to scramble and just throw out there what you can. But
we can go on to more because obviously we'll change this lineup. But I just want to get more values out there. I like Roman Wilson this week. He'll be making his debut. He is basically minimum price. They drafted him. He has the draft capital to be a starter. He's a big play guy. He actually has like Tyreek Hill level speed in my opinion. I've seen him at Michigan, so I am biased to that. Of course, there is some fandom there, but that does mean I know his profile better than most into the professional. I do think he could be big. I think his ownership will be suppressed because of all that RAM value. So I think we should consider Rome if it fits. We should probably also get Cam Akers in this lineup as well, just as a value decision point, right?
I mean, it's your pick second. So, like, who's your favorite?
Mine is Cam Akers. Whenever you can get a touchdown, a potential guy, we saw it week 1 with J.K. Dobbins. Anytime a guy is like 4,500, which J.K. was a couple weeks ago, it does seem crazy considering he's in the 6,000s now. I like it. You got a offense that will be able to move the ball, so Akers doesn't even have to be efficient. He might just get green zone touches or red zone touches because the offense is good. So I like it especially because of that.
And it's a good step. He's still an electric guy. I mean,
And I'll be honest, I like a good story sometimes. I do like the emotional, like, comeback story, the dedication, that determined, like, that does matter to me a bit. Like, when you're fighting on the, in line to get into the end zone, do you have the heart? Are you willing to fight the extra inch? I think he will. So I will be playing it my personal, but I think it's a good value we should consider. Um, any other value picks I'm missing here?
Well, I mean, get rid of Roman Wilson. I don't have Roman Wilson even in my list. That's not like a great value pick in my mind. Like that's a dart throw. That's a legit. Yeah. He's not going to be owned. You probably got to be stacking Pittsburgh to do well to even think about that. That's not like a great value play.
Fair. So that's a personal bias thing.
You're playing Roman Wilson. No one else is even thinking. Like, that's not what this lineup. This lineup isn't who's all the cheap fucks I'm going to play. This is one of the top values around the league right now. So, right now, I'm just going to plug. I get 2 picks here because it's my snake. Top value wide receiver everyone's talking about right now is Brandon Ayuk.
Yeah, that's a
so.
Big one.
Let's put him in there.
Okay.
That's your top value with everyone out on San Francisco and the condensed target share.
I love
the guy should probably be mid 7K or higher. He should be a Marvin Harrison Jr. He should be up there with the Evans and the other number 1 wide receivers on these offenses. He's 6,200. It's just too cheap for Ayuk.
Even if Kittle was going to play, with the way this offense is ran and how they just paid him, they expected more from him. He came back off of, maybe not practicing as much. So obviously his involvement and integration to that offense were slowed down, were tampered. He should be like a high 7K wide receiver. When you consider all the injuries and the opportunities now opened up to him, I just think he would have been, if DraftKings could redo the pricing, he'd be 8K. I really believe that. He's the best value on the board to me this week. People were talking about Devontae Smith. I think it's Brandon Ayuk. It's also some late game PMR too, which I also favor. Just for lineup changes or reconstructions. I
think Devontae at 69 is also a solid value. But once you get into that 6K range, I understand. This is where people got to get different. I say value, I don't mean cheap. I mean who's better price per dollar, who's actually going to show value based on the slate. That's why I was looking at Tyler Johnson. He's had a much higher snap percentage, much higher target share in the games so far than Tutu. Tutu, you're hoping jumps into that role. But a dart on any Rams wide receiver is not horrible, to be honest. Demarcus Robinson is probably a little expensive. I prefer Johnson, but Tutu's probably in the mix. So is Whittington, depending on salary. I think taking a shot on a Rams wide receiver is fine.
What's the other value we got, though, so we can move this along?
The next one I have for me would be to get a second cheap running back in. So I like Zamir White against my Panthers. I think he's been slowly ramping up his workload. I think this Raiders team is going to be able to run the ball. And so give me that 5K running back that can help fill stuff in.
I will say to that point, Gov, his usage had spiked tremendously from week 1 to week 2. He got a lot more usage in week 2. I think Madison got a couple of the red zone touches or a couple of the what they consider high volume touch or value touches. So then people are forgetting that White actually would use more in week 2. If that trend continues, that's a good value. He's too cheap for what he could do. It's not even that he's a good player. It's just his price and his opportunity.
Yeah, exactly. His volume, his workload is more than what his price is.
Exactly.
So that's what I'm looking for value. Who's actually going to be out there with a high workload and a cheap price?
Yeah.
I already have a couple other players, but those are my 2 for right now. So Logan.
Back to you, Logan.
Who's your next best value play? I said, value doesn't mean cheap. It just means value.
For me, it's Zach Charbonnet. And I know some people were like, well, he didn't look good with the efficiency. And it's kind of Gov's point with Zamir White. It's he didn't look good, but he was kind of forced in that role. They were hoping Walker was going to play. They were hoping the offense looked different. If we like this game already, which we do, because we talked about it longer than usual with with our picks, I want a unique piece of this offense. I think a lot of people will go JSN and DK. I'm not saying they're bad plays.
Well, Charbonnet is the chalk right now. So, like, that is the first, like, him and Ayuk are the two. Him, Ayuk, and Akers are probably going to be very chalky.
Yeah.
Like, people are on those plays with no Kenneth Walker. Like, they're expecting. Charbonnet did get a lot of workload last week. He just did nothing with it. Like, he was on the field a bunch. He just didn't do much with it.
And that's what I'm saying is
maybe that was because New England limited the running game. They had a very good defensive scheme.
Well, I've heard a lot of people say, well, he got a lot of workload and that's why he's a good play. But, like, he hasn't been efficient, and that's true. But what if that was, like, the unfortunate narrative of that script? Like, what happens if he's super efficient with that workload now? Then he smashes, right? And so I don't.
Yeah, he had the workload. He could have easily had 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. He just never got, like, the offense never was able to get going that way. They got going more with Metcalf and Jigba. Geno was able to swing it.
Last week we failed because our priors got in the way of our personal bias. We didn't work out our way. I'm going back to it this week, though. I think Charbonnet is a talented running back, and his talent is better than the price.
All right.
Donnie, you got any value here?
I mean, I think the obvious value is just going Andy Dalton. Cheapest quarterback on the slate.
Cheapest starter on the slate. I'm fine with that's a good value in my mind. Like, again, not really against it. I think the top, like, owned value would be people playing Geno. I think he's only like 56.
He is.
And he's still getting all that value and volume in that Seattle offense. But I'm also think I'm with you. I think Dalton can come out and have a good game at 4,800. Like, it's just a very great, very good.
It works perfectly.
And just pairing that with Deontay or Thielen, whatever your bread and butter is, I was looking for ownership numbers if you had it, and I would just go.
Deontay is higher owned than Thielen, but Thielen's $100 more, so that makes sense.
Right, but what's the is it a significant difference? Like, does it matter in ownership?
Neither are pulling hardly any ownership.
Okay,
you're
so
talking
then just
we're talking like the difference between like 12 and 9.
Okay, yeah, so just go Deontay.
At that point, Johnny, you're right. Because how many people are going to stack Dalton and in Jonathan? So he's going to be a one-off, but, like, if we're right about Andy Dalton, then pairing him with any of the receivers that you think are going to get volume, that's a smart decision. So then at that point, you just favor talent. So that makes sense.
All right, Logan, I'll leave it to you. Who's your favorite value tight end, and I'll pick the favorite value defense.
Right.
And again, you can play whoever the hell you want with all the money we have.
It's either Cody Parkinson or Jake Ferguson for me. I'll leave that up to you guys.
I would go Jake just because.
Yeah, I kind of like Jake coming back. Like, Dallas needs.
They forced it to a tight end that even they admitted that Luke Schoonemaker wasn't the same type of guy, but they obviously like their tight end in that scheme. And, you know, Dak Prescott does favor the tight end. I would almost say he's even more of a favorite target than CeeDee Lamb, like, in terms of likability. For Dak, he does seem to go to Jake a lot when he's under pressure. And so I just think he's too cheap for that upside.
All right. So I'm just going to fill it in with the chalk cheap defense. Because, like, I know you guys would immediately change if I said, you know what, let's play the Vikings defense at 2,400. So just play Chicago against Indy at 26.
By the way, Jonathan Taylor seemed to be benched. That was why he didn't get any fourth quarter run in that game. Him and the coach seem to be at odds. I don't know if they've worked it out. I don't know how true that is. But anytime you hear a report like that and then you see the usage in the fourth quarter, it's not just a story of, like,
I mean, they were losing in the fourth quarter. They had no reason to run. They needed to throw. You were losing to a team that's draining the clock on you. You have to throw and score points. They didn't have time to let Jonathan Taylor grind out a 7-8 minute drive to maybe kick a field goal.
That could be the case.
You needed to score in the
That could be the case, and maybe that's exactly what happened. But I'm just saying, like, that's why I like this Bears defense pick, because there's obviously problems with Indianapolis right now.
All right, so this is a solid value lineup. We left 6,500 on the table.
Obviously, there's some changes that you would make.
So, like, right now, unbiased, who would be the one first player you would change, Logan? We're not saying we're changing that player, but if you had to pick one player that you wanted to get off of and upgrade, who would it be? It can be any of your picks. It can be any one of the players in there. It could be the defense. Yeah. It could be the tight end. It could be anybody.
I like the idea of taking a Rams and 49ers as a stack. I like having Dalton and White.
Just forget about what you like. What's the one play you don't like in this line?
Probably I would take out Tutu and just get up on that.
Okay, so Tutu's your guy. Donnie, who's the one play in this lineup you like the least? Because I think all of us like a lot of the players here.
Yeah.
But which one is the one you like the least? It might be Tutu again.
Cam Akers. I need to see who's going to get the ball more.
See, and that's my thought. I think Dare is going to get a lot of passing work. I'm not trusting Akers as my thing. So that would be the first place I would upgrade.
That is actually a good one because we don't need it in this lineup. And sometimes a guy can be a good value and you don't need it. So I'm glad.
So how much do we want to get? So now we have a flex spot. Let's see. We have all the money in the world.
Mason's too cheap on DraftKings still too.
No, 60 mid 6K is about where I would mid 6K to 7K is about where I'd expect him in that same frame.
But that's actually why
he's
I like
still
Brandon.
A little too cheap, but he's right there.
Yeah. But that's why I like Brandon Ayuk better because I do think they have similar upsides, but I think Ayuk's ownership is going to be a lot less because people are going to want to jam in Mason. And so I would just rather take the chance on Brandon.
So my thought here would be my question. Would you guys rather have in one of the two stud running backs or one of the 2 or 3 stud wide receivers?
The wide receivers.
You'd rather have the wide receiver? What about you, Donnie? Would you rather have one of the stud running backs or one of the stud wide receivers?
I'd rather one of the running backs.
I'm more on the running back side. Okay. And not that the wide receivers are bad, or like when I'm talking about stud wide receivers, like Lamb, Jefferson, St. Brown, Tyreek, those are those guys. Would I rather have one of them, or would I rather have a Barkley or a Kamara?
Since it looks like I'm going to be ruled, I'll say for me it would be CeeDee Lamb or Tyreek Hill. I would jam in this lineup.
If we were going to pick a wide receiver, I would also say CeeDee Lamb. But personally, I like one of Barkley or Kamara. And I'm heavier on Barkley just because he seems to be the lower-owned leverage play. But I think Kamara is a good play. I think he's popular. I think he'll be fine.
Which running back do you think we need to jam in this lineup?
I would say one of Barkley or Kamara. Which one do you two guys prefer?
I would say Kamara. Honestly, though, there are a couple running backs I would consider even in the cheaper range, but still at the top area, like the A-Chains.
I still think
A-Chain's low, yeah.
I still think Mason's an amazing play, honestly. At 62, it's so cheap.
He's the same price as Ayuk, and I think taking the shot on Ayuk is if we put Mason in, my next thought would be, okay, let's use what money we have left to get off of Ayuk.
No, that's fair. I just think if you're not going to play one of Ayuk, you should play Mason. If you're not going to play Mason, you should play Ayuk.
I agree. One of those San Fran guys, because they basically have to do everything. The very contrarian thing to do would be to do Purdy, Ayuk, Mason as your triple stack and get the entire offense.
I don't.
But I'm not big on that. Like I said, I don't know if that game is such a blowout that San Fran puts up 30 and the Rams don't score. That's why I took the points on the Rams.
My favorite pay-up running backs would be Devin Achane, Derrick Henry, or Kyren Williams.
See, I'm still just all on Barkley and Kamara. I think getting right one of those two guys from that game, because that's the only early game I'm really interested in.
Yeah.
I don't have much interest in Giants, Cleveland, Chicago, Indy. Houston, Minnesota, I have a little bit of interest in. I'm not playing anything from that Chargers-Pittsburgh game. I've got basically nothing from the Denver-Tampa game.
Okay. Here's the thing I'll say. I like playing Kamara for the consistency over taking a chance on Shaheed because maybe this is I know he's good. We have him in best ball. I want to believe in this offense. We were higher in this offense than a lot of people won't. But how many more times are we going to count on that 80-yard touchdown? I know.
Well, the Phillies secondary is not very good.
Well, and it's also Kamara's been getting that heavy volume. Like Kamara's like.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, you can take away that big touchdown. He still gets passing game work. He's still getting 20+ touches a game right now in this offense. Like it's
That's
like Evan was saying earlier in the offseason. Like they're giving Kamara the rock.
Yeah.
They are definitely giving Kamara the rock and giving him all the touches. So like
that's why I like Kamara, because I think the volume is there. Where like if you go Shaheed, which I think will be popular, the problem is you're counting on the 80-yard touchdown. I don't like to count on the big play.
I'm not counting on an 80-yard touchdown. Like I think playing Kamara, you're not counting on an 80-yard touchdown at all. He's getting the volume to get you there without.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying because Kamara has the volume, you're not counting on that. Playing other options from that game, like a Shaheed.
Yeah, Shaheed, you are kind of hoping he has another big touchdown.
Exactly.
Like even relevant. That's true.
So,
all right, so you put Charbonnet back in the play.
I think Charbonnet is a good play off of Mason if we are going to play other angles of that 49ers game.
See, if I was going to play the Seahawks, I think I'd rather just I don't know. Their secondary is real good. I just don't like the Seahawks that much in general.
See, I like their offense to be really explosive. They played a Denver team that didn't push them. Like Bo Nix has looked terrible. He's probably looked even worse than Bryce Young, if we're being honest. So they haven't been pushed defensively or had that big explosion game. I could see this game scoring 30 points on Seattle's side. Maybe I'm wrong though.
3,700. Okay, so again,
I would argue
the next guy you would want to get rid of.
I would argue, I would just. I'd rather play a guy like a CD instead of play Ferg. If we can get up to that somehow.
Yeah. Well, we could just be
Ferg's the tight end, so like we can't really.
I know, but we could. My point is, I'd rather just play the.
You would have to change two players.
Yeah.
You would have to change two players. Though.
What if we did this? What if we go because Mark Andrews is cheaper. Gov likes that Ravens Dallas game.
I absolutely hate Mark Andrews.
Do you? Okay.
Yes. He is dust. He's old. He's done. It's likely. But I wouldn't play likely over Ferg in this line. Like, I'm trying to think of, like, my thought is Tutu or the stack is where I would put the money into at this point.
I like our stack.
Yeah, I'm fine. Like, again, no one else wants to change Dalton and Giante. And I would change Tutu. That's 8K. Gets us basically anything except.
You can get a bring back to our stack with Adams.
We already have that with Zamir White.
Okay, yeah.
If anything, I would try to one-off a high ceiling play. And like the one game that I like that we don't have nothing from is that Detroit-Arizona game. So would any of you be opposed to just shamming in Marvin Harrison Jr. as a one-off from that Detroit-Arizona?
I'm not opposed to it. But, okay, well, see, again, I'd rather just trade McBride and get consistent targets, but we don't have tight end.
McBride has been getting no targets this year. So
6 targets and 9 targets. Much more consistent.
Yeah. Where's he running? Something's off on him this year. Well, hold on. You keep talking. I'm going to try to pull up the stat on it.
I mean, I don't know exactly. He's getting targets but based on the numbers. The thing is, he's just not scoring as much, I would say. But I don't know. The game I'm playing a lot of this game. There's a lot of injuries in that receiver. Well, there's a suspension, and then it looks like Dortch will miss the game as well. So
it's why I like Michael Wilson, but I can definitely see the Harrison play.
Yeah, no, like it makes sense. It makes complete sense to me. I just I don't know. We'll see.
If we paid down at defense, we could get Jahmyr Gibbs to pair.
We already are paying down. I'm not paying further down than this.
Like, yeah, we can't really go farther down at defense.
Yeah. I'm just throwing
people. You're basically saying, okay, we're going to take a 2-point defense and hope that somebody makes up for that 5-point difference.
Yeah. I'm just showing people.
Like, if anything, I would take that 600 and go up at defense. Like, we only had 600 left if we do that.
Right. You could play Jamison cheaper, and that would give you more money for the defense to your point. Like,
you could go up. Like, if you wanted the bring back instead of Charbonnet, I could play Henry in the flex and just have Henry.
Okay, I feel better about that.
Like, if you wanted to put that money on Charbonnet next, like, I would definitely go up to Henry.
Okay, then we're going to go to Henry.
Don't have quite enough to turn White into Mason or anything.
I do like Henry because he's still gotten good usage in terms of touchdown upside and things like that, but he's disappointed. But look at his disappointment games. Like, we're talking consistencies, 10, 16, Like if he has that 2 touchdown game, even if the efficiency isn't there, he's looking at 20. And you're getting him under 7K. I like that. And it's a good pairing too because it's not a CeeDee Lamb pairing, but it's considered. You're getting the second receiving option. I would say with Ferguson.
I want to be clear, by the way, with the 2-2 pick. I have a like 3 lineups right now. I am playing each one of the top 3 Rams guys. I will be touching every part. I will not miss out on a Rams receiver. I just will have one fail for me at least.
DraftKings sort of agrees with you, Donnie. Actually, Tutu actually had the biggest spike of any Rams wide receiver. Like if you look
I was looking at it. Tutu got those 4 targets, but that even with those 4 targets, like he's still like 5th on the list in targets.
He's still
behind. He's still behind Puka, and their shot guy is Robinson and Whittington. That's their fast dudes running down the field. And then they were using Tyler Johnson on the outside. Tutu's their slot guy. Now, there's something to be said about Stafford hitting his slot guy. He's hit Kupp. He hit Puka in the slot. So I'm not going to argue completely against the Tutu play. It's definitely not my favorite one of the Rams wide receivers, but it definitely has the shot if the Rams are moving their offense.
Should we pair the Saints defense with Kamara with our running back? Does that matter?
I don't know if I do that. I think I still like Chicago. Like Chicago's defense.
We don't have the chalk. Yeah, we don't have the chalk. Let's just get the chalky defense.
Yeah.
I'm
looking right now. We have 2 plays that might be seen as chalky.
Yeah.
And that's Kamara is kind of the pay up chalk for running back. And then Ayuk is definitely going to be a chalky wide receiver. Outside of that, Zamir White's going to be lower owned. I don't think many people will be on Marvin Harrison, but mostly in game stacks. So, like, you'll see a lot of Marvin Harrison with Kyler. You'll see a lot of Marvin Harrison on the other side of Goff. I don't think you'll just see a random Marvin Harrison.
I do think he'll have a week where he gets more targets than he did last week. And
we're going to have, like, the lowest owned stack because no one wants to stack Andy Dalton.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And I will say, it hasn't turned into anything yet. It's just a player we haven't really spoke about. Gus Edwards has been getting heavy workload in his offense. He just hasn't scored with it.
Dobbins has been – that's the thing. They've been giving Dobbins more workworkload, but, like, it's still a 50-50 split between them.
Yes.
And Dobbins is just the one breaking all the big
That's why
I don't be scared. Yeah, that's my only thing, though. If you are off of Dobbins now because his price got too high or whatever, and you're still looking for that cheap back, I don't think Gus Edwards is a bad choice. He could easily have a 2-touchdown day and take those points away.
I do.
I don't hate this lineup. This lineup looks pretty good, actually.
Yeah. Is there anything else we'd want to do? I like it.
No, I think with $100 left, we've taken our value lineup and we've pumped it up where it needs to be.
Yeah. By the way, I think we only have one 1 o'clock game, so we have a ton of PPR or
PMR.
Yeah, PMR. Thank you. I don't know
why.
A
lot of PMR, yes.
I'm like, man, we went longer than expected on our picks. I got to move this along, and then I couldn't get words out.
Okay, let's get our draft lineup in. Let's get our
draft lineup, and then we can get out of here.
Yeah, we'll get out of here for the day. Let everyone come and watch us. Anyone in here watching, thank you. Love you being by.
All right.
Remember to like and subscribe and comment down below. We will get back to you with whatever answers we can. We appreciate any engagement.
Look at Joe being the company man. I like it.
All right, so Donnie, pick number 1.
I'm just going back to 2-2.
No quarterbacks, by the way.
Is he really no quarterbacks in the first?
I will say, Donnie took him in a best ball draft. So Donnie does believe in the talent.
The man likes wearing a tutu. Okay, gotcha.
I will say that is true, right, Donnie? You did take him in a best ball league.
I did, yeah. My very first one before Whittingham had any buzz around him.
This is great pre-training camp. So Donnie would say his number 1 plie is for Tutu. No. Please comment down below how horrible that was. Okay, Logan, your pick. Who's your favorite play on the slate?
We always take this for granted, but there's a lot of new viewers. We don't pick quarterback first. So in case you guys are wondering why we haven't picked
all get at least one pick in before we allow the quarterback to be picked. So who's your favorite play? Again, and this is just our straight up favorite play line. This doesn't have a value thought. This is just a straight draft. Who's your favorite play on the week?
My favorite.
Normally we're all jamming in a bunch of expensive dudes to begin with, and then we got to figure it out from there.
Yeah, but sometimes you just like value.
I can't believe you like this value, but maybe I'm wrong. I probably should get some more Tutu. I actually need like a mid 4K wide receiver that's not Greg Dortch.
There you go. Greg Dortch might be out, so.
Yeah, I saw him pop up with the hamstring issue, which sucks because like normally you want to play the slot guy against Detroit.
Yep.
Roman Wilson.
Oh God.
Jesus.
I'm gonna make us.
I will say, wide receiver number 2 has had no work for them. So if Roman Wilson can come in and be their wide receiver number 2, which is possible, there's not much competition.
He's got draft capital and he's 3K. Everyone wants to play with Rams at a price point that's 1,000 more.
Save us, Gov. Jam.
I was about to say, I have to jam in some fucking points to save this lineup. Oh, God. Okay. All right, we're done. Okay, we're going to do it. Logan, first pick, CeeDee Lamb. All right, let's just jam in some fucking points right now.
We can jam in things that people can't know because we're paying 1,000 less than most people are paying for wide receiver. How old do you think the Rams wide receivers are going to be this week? And they're all like 45, 46, 42, 40,
And then you're plugging a 0.00001% owned dude in Roman Wilson. Like, not only can we eat all the chalk we want in this lineup for the rest of the lineup,
I mean.
I can use that money. And now I have to jam in the other thing. And since we've all made a pick, Lamar is going to be my next pick.
Don't build my
I know I didn't put in a stack. I have sort of a game stack. I have Lamar going off and CeeDee Lamb going off on the other side.
This is so close to my personal. Don't copy me, bro.
Other than those 2 wide receivers, we started off on one of my personal lineups too.
Logan, let's go.
Logan, pick number 2.
Let me just fill in.
Whatever you want. You pick the defense for all I give a crap.
No, I'm going to put in the best value on the board. Brandon Ayuk.
Here's our flex. I was wondering if you were going to do him or Mason in this.
See, I'm putting Mason in, and we're going to have to argue this later because I want Mason.
Wow. So we're going to have a Baltimore
I'll tell you this.
Dallas stack with a full game stack of San Fran.
It honestly doesn't matter to me. So if Gov wants to play Mason over Ayuk, I'm okay with it.
This is if Donnie's putting Mason in, that's what we're doing.
Putting Mason in. Yeah, we're putting Mason in here.
This is not really a process lineup. Value is more.
I thought it was my pick. I'm sorry.
No, it is your pick. You had Ayuk, and now it's mine again.
Oh, so you want to put Brandon Ayuk and Mason? I got it.
Yeah, you're putting in Ayuk. He's then immediately putting in Mason.
Okay. Yeah. I was 50-50 on which one I wanted anyway, so I had no problem with this pick.
Your last pick now, or Donnie. Yeah, Donnie, you get 2 in a row. Then Logan, he gets his last pick, and then I'll get the very last pick.
Brock Bowers.
Ooh, I like that. I really like Brock Bowers this week. Like, I'm probably going to be playing him as my main bring back in any Andy Dalton stack.
Yeah, I like this.
It probably should be Adams, and it might be Zamir White, but I love Brock Bowers. Like, he's been a stud tight end coming out.
They've been using him very creatively too, even in the backfield, Gov, in some formations.
All right, Logan.
Donnie,
I just did 2.
Oh yeah, so Logan, you can either pick our last running back, or you can plug in a value defense or whatever you want. We probably have enough money where you can go about 6K at running back and still leave us a decent defense. But you might still need to pick like a value running back. Or just jam in the defense you like right now, and I'll make the running back decision.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it to you. I'll take Tennessee.
Perfect defense. Perfect.
Oh God.
There it is.
Oh Jesus. And you left me 100 off of the dude I actually wanted to play. Why? You son of a cricket. I would have liked to have gotten to Jerome Ford at 5,800. To fill out this lineup against the Giants, but okay, fine. I'll look cheaper than that. Sons of bitches.
You told me you had all this money. You had we're gonna have to jam now. This lineup is unique. I like it actually.
Let's see. So I need 5,700 at running back.
This actually
already have hours.
I've got a thought.
Well, what do you think?
Like he's on my I think it's got to be because he's on my list of guys.
Yep.
We haven't used him in this draft. I don't want to just go to Zamir White again and have 2 Vegas guys. So you actually just scrolled over both of them. I'm choosing between one of those two guys. You have the mouse open.
Yeah.
I'm just looking right now.
People love Swift this week.
Najee has been getting a lot of usage.
He has.
Yes.
A lot of usage. He's playing solid snap. He still is only like a 50% snap guy, but they're using him when he's on the field. So could he have a breakout game against the Chargers? I don't know. I think I'm probably just.
But do we want two Steelers?
Well, that's the other part. It's do I want to go with two Steelers and hope that they did? You know what? DeAndre Swift. He's been getting more targets. He's been getting more run. I think they're slowly trying to work him into being the main back. They're always going to use a Khalil Herbert and the other guys they have. But last week, getting more run, getting more targets. This is a game where people probably think Chicago's going to be ahead because Indy hasn't been looking good. But Indy's at home. They could easily be ahead in this game. And now Chicago's behind and they have to hit their passing game. Swift was getting targets. I'll take that as one of my cheap running backs. When you're in that 5K range, if you're not just going down to Akers, there's not much. And then you've got all of the 6K running backs that look good.
Yeah.
Mason,
I do think Gus Edwards
Charbonnet,
is a favorite player.
Henry, they all look good.
There is going to be a week where you have a Gus bust go off for 26 points because he scores 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, when Gus has his multi-touchdown game, he'll be very good, and that'll be good in that range. But they clearly want to set up Dobbins for those.
Oh, 100%.
They're scheming big plays for Dobbins, where it's we'll get you the ball, you got to make a big play. Gus is sort of just being run into, you're just our pounder. When you break one, you'll break one, but I'm basically giving you a play that's only supposed to get 5 yards. Whereas Dobbins is getting plays where it's you can easily get 30 here if you break a tackle.
As it should be schemed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Get him in open space, let him make a play, whereas just give Gus the ball and see what happens. But I think I like DeAndre Swift as probably the best in that range. Like I said, my personal favorite would have been getting that extra 100 going up to Jerome Ford against the Giants. I think that Cleveland's getting back one of their tackles. Their run game should be better. I'm not afraid of Deonta Foreman in a split because Ford's definitely the passing game guy. If they get down at all or if it's a close game, I do think it is Ford. At least until Chubb comes back, and then he'll just do everything.
I do like the talent of Swift. I think I'm more frustrated that Swift hasn't ever cashed in that talent. If you looked at the range, I'd be Swift has a passing role. He could be a gadget kind of safety blanket for a rookie quarterback. He has the potential to take an 80-yard screen pass. He has the breakaway speed.
I think Chicago's starting to realize, if you use Swift like Matt Forte, where he's more of a passing game guy, you're not running him 20 times a game,
mm-hmm.
he can actually be effective. Problem is, most teams get him and then want him to be as much of a traditional running back as they would need, while then adding in not even a Kamara. They want him to come in and be like Devin Singletary. They want him to come in and be Joe Mixon. I'm going to run you 25, 30 times, and you'll probably get some passing work too when we need it. It's no, DeAndre Swift needs to be that guy that you use like what the Chargers are doing. You need to use DeAndre Swift like J.K. Dobbins and find you a Gus Edwards to play off of him.
Part of that, I think, was his fault because he wanted to buck his own narrative. People were like, hey, you're a great pass-catching running back. Hey, you're a good because he is fast, but he's very agile.
Just use him like Reggie Bush.
Well, that's it, Donnie. He's fast, but he's more agile than he is fast. And I feel like he wanted to prove that, I can also run over someone. I can also do this.
And he gets hurt too much doing that. He's not able to sustain that level of production and workload.
To that point, though, Gruff, he can do some of that, but you don't need to do that every time.
Exactly.
So sometimes where you got to protect that Band-Aid, and that's what he hasn't done. I like the play. I like the upside. I don't know if it will get in the way.
Yep.
That's why we talk about our personal bias and work through things. I like it. Is there anything else you guys want to mention before we get out here?
That's going to be it. I got to get to work.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I got to get ready.
I got about 20 minutes. So I appreciate the condensed show, the time change. Again, just quickly, like and subscribe. We do get back to as many people as we can. We have been making some
comment down below. We want to hear your thoughts.
Right. Even if you tell me to shave, I will shave, by the way. Some people have been worried about that. I'm shaving next week, potentially. So tune in for
If you
that.
tell me to shave, I will grow a goddamn beard longer than my face. Like, you don't. You tell Logan to shave, he'll listen to you. You tell me to shave, I'll comment back. I'm gonna grow more hair just.
No, I won't listen. But the problem is, it's getting a little too ZZ Top for me right now. So I do got to trim it up a little bit.
I'm gonna take you're gonna look at my beard and be like, "Wow, I wish you would go with more ZZ Top."
Well, don't forget your cheap sunglasses and have a good week. Hopefully, you guys are in the profit margins, and whether we win or lose, we'll be back with you Tuesday to review exactly how this lineup went. Good luck, guys.
Have a good night.
Peace out.